India's best UPSC interview guidance by former UPSC board members. 5-pronged approach includes DAF briefing, one-to-one sessions, regional information guidance, feedback by a psychologist, mock interview mimicking the actual interview by former UPSC board members only at KPIAS Delhi. This is the guidance by the best to ace the UPSC race. WhatsApp your DAF to 9133957733 now.
Hello everybody, welcome to KPIAS Delhi's C.A.R.E initiative, Current Affairs through Reverse Engineering.
These are the articles that we'll be covering today. Let us look into the first article for the day. Scheme for residential education for students in high schools in targeted areas, Shrestha. So what is the context of this article? The context that is given in PIB is that approximately 2,500 scheduled caste students were admitted through Shrestha scheme in CBSE and state boards affiliated 142 private residential schools for the academic session 2023 and 2024. Alright, so for prelims, some facts about the scheme would become very important. Alright, so what are some facts with respect to Shrestha? First of all, you need to know that this is a scheme for residential education for students in high schools in targeted areas, and it covers only scheduled caste students. Alright, and now coming to the implementing authority, or implementing ministry. Which ministry did initiate this Shrestha program? It is not Ministry of Education. No, it is Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Alright. And what is its aim? It aims to provide high quality education and opportunities to students belonging to scheduled castes. Alright, and why do they want to do this? Why do they want to give high quality education to scheduled castes? So there is an underlying reason behind it. What is it? It is to uplift the socio-economic status of scheduled castes by offering their children access to high quality education in some of the country's best private residential schools. Alright, so to uplift their socio-economic status, this is one method, that is giving access to high quality education. Alright, and what is the admission criteria? The scheme facilitates admission for eligible school students in class 9 and class 11 in CBSE affiliated private schools. Alright, and what is the criteria? Income criteria. Is there any income criteria to get admission? Yes, there is. The scheme targets students from marginalized income groups, specifically with those having annual family income of up to rupees 2.5 lakh, which means 2.5 lakh or less than that. If there is family income, then that particular student is eligible for this scheme. Alright, and how is the selection process done? The selection process is through the National Entrance Test for Shrestha, that is NETS. Alright, I'll write it here. NETS, National Entrance Test for Shrestha, which is conducted by the National Testing Agency for admission into 9th and 11th class. Okay, if the student has to get admitted to 9th and 11th class, that means the student should be in which class? He has to be in 8th or 10th standard. 8th class or 10th standard, right? So these are some basics. Okay, and the government aims to admit around 3,000 SC category students each year into 9th and 11th class under this scheme. Alright, so these are some basics. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements about Shrestha scheme launched by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. See, this can also be a potential question, that which ministry is doing this. Alright, so it is Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It is not Ministry of Education. Alright, that you have to remember. Now, the scheme for residential education for students in high schools in targeted areas. You also have to remember this full form. Okay, aims to provide quality education to students of general category? No, it is SC. Okay, scheduled castes. All right. So first is wrong. First statement. That means A is gone, C is gone. Now C. Observe these. 2 is common, 4 is common. That means 2 and 4 are invariably correct. 2 and 4 are invariably correct. Now you have to only check for 3 if it is right or wrong, right? The scheme targets students belonging to scheduled castes from families with an annual income of up to rupees 2.5 lakh. This is correct. So 2, 3 and 4 are correct, which means without reading second and fourth statement, if you are able to confidently eliminate one statement, you will arrive at the answer just by reading two statements. All right? Okay. Now, with reference to Stand Up India scheme, which of the following statements are correct? Its purpose is to promote entrepreneurship among SC, and women entrepreneurs. Yes. It provides refinance through SIDBI? Yes, this is also correct, right? So this is both A and B. Both 1 and 2 are correct. All right. Financial Intelligence Unit, India, FIUIND, issues compliance show cause notices to 9 offshore virtual digital asset service providers. Okay. Now for prelims, what is this Financial Intelligence Unit India and what are these virtual assets or virtual digital assets are important, and also this virtual digital assets service providers. So 3 things are important. We will see one by one. What are these virtual assets? Virtual assets are crypto assets, and they refer to any digital representation of a value that can be digitally traded, transferred or used for payment. Okay. Virtual assets refer to any digital representation of value that can be digitally traded, transferred and used for payment. Okay, I repeated it because you have to have clarity. All right. And you should also know that this particular virtual asset will not include digital representation of fiat money. Digital representation of fiat currencies is not included in this virtual asset. No. All right. Now that you know what virtual assets are, now what are these virtual digital asset service providers? These are service providers and are engaged in activities like exchange between virtual digital assets and fiat currencies, transfer of virtual digital assets, safekeeping or administration of virtual digital assets, or instruments enabling control over virtual digital assets. All these things. I just told you, right? Virtual digital assets and this fiat currencies are 2 different things. So to have an exchange between these and to provide other services, this VDA-SPs are in place. All right. Now we'll come to this Financial Intelligence Unit India. What is it? It is an independent body reporting directly to the Economic Intelligence Council. And this Economic Intelligence Council is headed by the finance minister, union finance minister. Okay. And it is the apex forum for interagency coordination. Okay, a forum which is overseeing government agencies responsible for economic intelligence. Why? To combat economic offenses. All right. So this is about EIC. Now what is FIUI? This is an independent body which directly reports to this EIC headed by finance minister. Okay, it was set up, this is first point, and second point is it was set up in the year 2004 as the Central National Agency responsible for receiving, processing, analyzing and disseminating information relating to suspect financial transactions. Okay. Now, what are these suspect financial transactions? For example, there is money laundering happening, there is terror financing that's happening. Okay, so to combat such transactions and to strengthen the national and international intelligence, All these things are in place. All right, so these are some basics. Now we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements with regard to virtual digital asset service providers. They are engaged in exchange between virtual digital assets and fiat currencies, transfer of virtual digital assets. Yes, this is the very function of this one. Now we have seen in the basics part. They are brought under the ambit of anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism framework. Of course, yes, right, because these are what? These are some financial transactions that shouldn't happen, right? So to have a clear watch on it and to combat such events, this thing is done. So both 1 and 2 are right. Now the terms Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot and Tether, sometimes mentioned in news, refer to these are different types of cryptocurrencies. All right. So A is the answer. All right. Next, NASA's Deep Space Network turns 60. So this is important for preliminary examination. What is it? It is NASA's international array of giant radio antennas that supports interplanetary spacecraft missions. All right, and it also performs radio and radar astronomy observations for exploration of solar systems. Okay, and third point is it is operated by NASA's, who operates it? It is operated by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. All right. So 3 things you have to remember. It is an array of giant radio antennas and that supports interplanetary spacecraft missions, and it also performs radio and radar astronomy observations. Okay, why? For exploring solar system and the universe, and also to support selected Earth orbiting missions. All right, so these 3 points you have to remember. And fourth one is that it has 3 facilities spaced equidistant from each other, approximately 120 degrees apart in longitude around the world. Okay, so 360 degrees, no? So if you have to place 3 stations which are equidistant from each other, what would you do? 360 by 3, so 120 degrees apart you would place 3 stations. And what are those 3 stations? One is in California, the other one is in Madrid, Spain, and third one is near Canberra, Australia. All right. In the Indian context is track. ISTRAC. What is ISTRAC? What is the full form? ISRO Telemetry Tracking and Command Network plays a vital role in tracking and communicating with all the satellite launch vehicle missions of ISRO. All right. And it also maintains India Deep Sea Network, which is IDSN, for space and exploration missions. So ISTRAC will maintain Indian Deep Space Network. All right, and IDSN has 3 large antennas for supporting communications. Okay, whatever the ISRO missions are doing for planetary exploration, it actually supports them. And where is the hub located? It is located in Byalalu in the state of Karnataka. So this is in the Indian context. This is for NASA. All right. Now, we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements with regard to NASA's Deep Space Network. It performs radio and radar astronomy observations for the exploration of solar system and the universe and supports selected Earth orbiting missions. Yes, this is correct, right? We have just seen in the basics part. It consists of 3 facilities spaced equidistant from each other located in USA, France and Australia. It is not France, it is Spain. Alright, so second statement is gone. It is operated by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Yes, this is correct. So 1 and 3 are correct, which means only 2 statements are correct. Alright, now, which one of the following statements is correct regarding loafer? Okay, this is not the usual dialect that we use in Hindi, but it is low frequency array. It is low frequency array. All right. What is this low frequency array? It is the world's most powerful radio antenna, and it was built by Astron, an institute in Netherlands. All right. So, what is its purpose? The main purpose of this loafer is to make radio surveys of the sky with adequate resolution. Okay, and this particular antennas are spread over an area of 1,000 kilometers. Okay, so these are some basics. So A is the answer. All right. Conquest of Lanterna. What is the context of this article? A decade of efforts were made in the state of Madhya Pradesh to reclaim the land overrun by lantana. Now, what is this lantana? It is basically a plant or a shrub. Okay, now we have to know some basics about this one. They are native to tropical regions of Americas and the Africa. All right, so they are native to these regions. However, they exist as introduced species in numerous areas, especially in the Australian Pacific region, south and northeastern part of region. Okay, so here they are natives, but in these regions they were introduced. Okay, actually, who introduced them? They were introduced in the country as an ornamental plant by the Britishers in the 1800s. Okay, and from then they kept on spreading. Now they are almost covering 50% of the country's natural areas. All right, so this is the impact that the Britishers have done, and we are still facing the repercussions of it. Okay, now what are some qualities of these shrubs? See, we face difficulty because they rapidly spread. They have high intensity of infestation, and they show allelopathy. Now, this term can be a potential question in your preliminary examination. It was already given in mains, one of the mains papers, not GS, optional papers. Okay, now what is allelopathy? Allelopathy refers to a effect of one type of plant by a chemical produced by another type of plant. For example, if one plant is producing certain chemicals and this particular chemical is inhibiting the growth of the other plant, so this phenomenon is known as allelopathy, and this lantana plants actually show this trait. All right. Okay, and they are resistant to cutting and burning. All right. Now they are perennial flowering plants. Perennial, matlab the flowers bloom throughout the year. All right. Now one thing you should also understand that leaves of this particular shrub, lantana, is actually poisonous to many of the animals. That's why herbivores won't eat it. All right, but leaves are poisonous, but the fruits of this particular plant or shrubs, they are used as delicacy. All right, delicacy as in this fruit can be eaten, it is not poisonous. All right, so these are some basics. And what are the benefits of, does this plant or shrub have any benefit? See, because I mentioned one point, right, that these are cutting and burning resistant. All right, so these traits can be used, and they can be used in furniture, right? Furniture. So furniture made from this particular plant is resistant to sun, rain, and termite damage. Okay, and one more advantage is it is considered as near match to highly priced alternatives like cane and bamboo, which means this is cheaper and these are a little bit costly, no? Alright, and there are two tribes associated with this one. One is Soliga and Korava. These are two tribes, and the third one is Paliyar tribe. Paliyar tribe. Okay, Paliyar tribe of hills in Karnataka. They use this lanthana to produce roughly 50 different products. Alright, so these are some negative aspects, but these are some positive aspects, no? Alright, now we'll get into the MCQ. Consider the following statements with respect to lanterna. It is a native species of America and was introduced in Asia and African regions by the British. No, it is native to America as well as African regions. So this is gone. When one is gone, A is gone, C is also gone. Now, its leaves and fruits are poisonous in nature. Leaves are poisonous. Fruit is taken as delicacy, no? So this is also wrong. So it is D, neither one nor two. Why is a plant called Prosopis julifera? It is this yellow, it is combined, okay? Often mentioned in news. It's because it tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area in which it grows. Now, what is this? See, the kikar or Prosopis juliflora was brought to Delhi from Mexico by the British more than a century ago. Alright, the exotic plant became invasive and wiped out most of the native plants. Alright, so that is the cause of concern. So it is B. Pantoia tagorei. Vishbharati discovers new bacteria, names it after Rabindranath Tagore. Now, what is this? The heading itself says, right, that Vishbharati discovers new bacteria and it names it after Rabindranath Tagore. Why did they name after Rabindranath Tagore? Reason number one, because of his contribution to science, agricultural science. Number two, that it was found in the soil that was there in Shantiniketan. Alright, so these two are the reasons. Now we will see some features about this particular bacteria. Alright. The bacteria was initially isolated from the soil of Sonajuri in Shantiniketan and later it was found in Jharkhand. Okay, so in two places. Alright, second one, coming to the agricultural benefits, this particular bacteria shows the potential to significantly boost the cultivation of crops like paddy, pea, chili by enhancing the plant growth. Alright? Now what will happen if it is aiding the plant growth? You might cut down on agricultural costs, that is to buy fertilizers. Okay? Okay, and when it is helping to grow such plants, it means it is aiding in fixing the nitrogen and solubilizing potassium and phosphorus. Alright, so these are some basics you have to keep in mind from prelims perspective. Consider the following statements about the recently discovered bacteria Pantoia tagorei. It was discovered by a team of researchers led by microbiologist Bomba Dam for Vishbharati University's Botany Department. Yes, this is correct. When one is correct, B is gone. Okay. Now, the bacteria has shown potential in significantly boosting the cultivation of crops like wheat and soybean. It's not wheat and soybean. It is chili, pea and paddy. Okay, so when 2 is gone, C is gone. 3 is common, so you don't need to read 3. Come to fourth one. The bacteria is named in honor of Rabindranath Tagore, reflecting his vision in the field of literature. No. It is to honor his contribution to agricultural science, not literature, not Gitanjali, not those things. Alright, so 4 is gone. When 4 is gone, A is the answer. Alright, now consider the following. Bacteria, fungi, virus. Which of the above can be cultured in artificial synthetic medium? It is bacteria and fungi. That is 1 and 2. Why not virus? Because unlike bacteria and fungi, which can be cultivated in synthetic medium, viruses require living cells to reproduce. Okay, so these are host cells and only inside this virus can reproduce. It cannot reproduce in air. It can only be transmitted, but it cannot reproduce through in air or if there is no host cell. All right. So living cell is essential condition for virus to reproduce. All right. So A is the answer. All right.
This is it for today. All the best.